Hi, I'm Don Singletary, and welcome to the channel. You know, when we day trade, our trades normally don't last but a few minutes, sometimes just a few seconds. But we're all zeroed in to try to portend what's going to happen for the next few minutes for a stock index futures. And sometimes we lose perspective. We don't see the forest for the trees, as the saying goes. Our featured trade of the week is going to show you how not to get blindsided. It happens. At 8:30 every Thursday, Friday morning, that's Eastern Time, the jobs and unemployment reports come out. And yesterday, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell spoke, and it affected interest rates, which made the market go into huge swings and gyrations. Every now and then, I watch that TV show called SWAT, and the SWAT officers practice a thing they call situational awareness. That's so they can avoid the surprises. And today's trade of the week, I'm going to show you a great illustration on how having perspective in a trade, being aware of the larger picture, can build profits for you. And by the way, if you're new to the channel, stay tuned because I've got two great beginners playlists I'll be telling you about in a moment. So let's get started with today's trade. Now here's the Squawk Morning newsletter. It's prior to the market opening, before 9:30 on Friday, January 21st, 2022. Netflix has already plunged overnight because of a report that showed their subscriber numbers are really hurting a little bit. Also, you'll see all the indexes were down. The futures dropped prior to the market. NASDAQ, the biggest decline at Wall Street's opening because of a Netflix. And also the S&P dropped 3 days in a row, finishing about 6.5% under the record close this month. Now, what I'm trying to do here is to show you how the market is far from bullish and in a very precarious stance on this particular day. That's the context of today's trade. Here's the setup for the trade. Remember, January 21st, the night before, as we just discussed, the market had gone down big time. The market opens at 9:30, has a little bounce from the overnight lows, and goes up for just 15 or 20 minutes at the 9:30 opening. And by 10 o'clock, it's well on its way down again. And it seems to have floored out around 10:20 and then heads back up and then back down again. But look what happens. At about 1:15, that's over at the extreme right side here, at about 1:15 in the afternoon, the market is almost exactly where it was when it opened that day. This is not the sign of a healthy, bullish market. And all the fundamentals are pointing to there could be more down action for the day. That was enough for me to make a decision to give this a try. And I see the little bounce here, and I decided to short a couple of contracts and see what happens. Now, I use the Tastyworks bracket order, the OCO. One cancels the other with the entry price, the stop, and the target price. All open the trade and put in the stop and target with one motion there. We can see here that I've shorted two contracts at 44.45 and 3/4 with a stop up there at 44.50. Now the 44.50 stop is 4.25 points. That's $42.50 for my initial stop. And I put a target down there, pretty arbitrary. I just picked 44.25 for no particular reason. Here I take the Tastyworks click and drag left mouse button and I bring my stop down a little bit because that's my first priority, as you see in my videos, is to reduce the risk on a trade whenever I have a chance to do that. Now, I think the stop order is sometimes just as much art, if not more, than technical science. Because you have to, the trick is to try to get it as close as you can, but still far enough away to let the trade breathe and develop. If you put it too close, you get stopped out very quickly. Now, I didn't hesitate to move it down to 44.48, and I also moved it back up to 44.49 because I'm trading up at almost, well, not almost, 44.47. That's just 2 points away from being stopped out of the trade. That's not a lot of margin, but I have to keep a handle on this trade. I don't want to let the amount that I risk get away from me, so I don't hesitate. when I feel like moving it up or down a little bit so I can keep the trade on till I see what's going to happen with it. That's just a personal judgment. And again, I remind you, you have to make decisions in this kind of trading before you have all the perfect outcome information. That's just the nature of this kind of trading. It's risky, but there's also a lot of opportunity, and the two go hand in hand. And I think the busiest time of a trade, at least for me, and we all trade a little differently, is when I first put the trade on, because it's a balance between trying to keep from losing very much money and trying to give a trade time to develop and see if you can turn it into a successful trade. You can see here, fortune is going my way because I just moved my stop down below the entry point. See that? I shorted two contracts, 44.45 and 3/4, and now my stop order, 44.43 and a half. That's about 2 points, only about $10. Not a lot to get excited about, but this gives me a free trade. Now I'm going to pull out my trusty Tastyworks mouse again. And since I'm trading down at 44.40 right now, I decide I'll move that stop down. Just eke it down a little bit more, try to lock in some profit. Now I've locked in $40 with my stop at 44.41.75. Now notice here, we're only about 4 minutes into the trade. I've locked in $40 now. Look at this tall green candlestick right here. It goes from 44.34 all the way up to 44.46. That's a 12-point move at $10 a point. That's a $120 move in 5 minutes that this thing went up. Now, I have my maximum stop in this trade so far at a cap of about a $40 loss. You remember when I first started the trade. But this thing can move, and I would have been perfectly willing to forfeit $40 to get out of this trade if the trade had overwhelmed my stop up there when I had it $40 away. Even at this moment, we're trading 44.41, and I was only 3/4 of a point from being stopped out. And now the trade's turned in my favor once again. I got to say, there's no technical indicator that can tell you what's going to happen this half a second to half a second or in 3 seconds. You're just dreaming if you think there's a technical indicator that can do that for you, because there isn't. It's good luck, maybe. And I'm getting some good action on this trade. It's dropping down again. It almost stopped me out there at 44.40. So I moved the target up here a little bit just to be ready in case I have to grab that thing and move it up there. I moved it up and I moved it back down again. 44.32 1/4 now. But look, we're trading 44.36. And I just moved my stop down to 44.38. I blocked it again now. An unrealized gain of $77.50. And things are happening fast now. If you're a beginner, your head is probably spinning. I had to move my target down to keep it from triggering down there, because I don't know how low this trade's going to go. And in the meantime, I have moved my stop down to 44.37 1/4. So that puts me $85 ahead of unrealized gain, locked in now. And I'm trading 44.33 1/2. And I'm going to get my Tastyworks mouse and bring that stop down just a little bit more. Another 2 points down to 44.35 1/4. And that is going to put me at $105 locked in. Now my stop is 44.35 1/4, and I'm only trading about to 1.5 points there, half a point away from getting stopped out there. No matter how complicated this may look to you if you're a beginner, there's only 3 things going on. I shorted the contracts, I have a stop and a target. And just so you know, that target down there at 44.27 1/4, nothing mysterious or mathematical about that. The target price is, I just pulled it out of the way because I didn't want it to click. This price is going down, down, down. And if I run my target price too close, I could stop a good trade before it matures some more and makes me some more money. And now I get my Tastyworks mouse out, and it's time to move the stop on down yet once again. I have people ask me, when I get a trade going like this, why don't you just use an automated trailing stop? Well, this is my money. I'm not turning my financial fate over to a robot. I have a brain. I can use it. I can think. And a trade is a dynamic thing that changes second to second. I mean, how can you think with an $8 billion computer between your ears that a trailing stop's going to somehow enhance your performance? In this case, in this kind of trading, I prefer not to. That's just my choice. And I think I see a teaching moment here. Imagine how many decisions I've made since I turned the computer on, looked at the screen, the technical indicators, decided to make a trade, and then even since I started the trade only maybe 5 minutes ago, I've made 30 or 40 different decisions. What are the odds that 10 traders are going to make those same 30 or 40 decisions every time? It's an individual experience, and we have to learn. We're all different. We have to learn to play to our own strengths and weaknesses as we go. It's a wonderful thing, isn't it? And to avoid risk instead of running into it. Rule number one, good traders put avoiding risk as their number one priority. Not making money, avoiding risk. At least twice during the last few minutes during this trade, I've been a half a point from being stopped out. And now I have a locked-in gain of $185. And I could have made a different decision. And I have to admit to you, you have to be a little bit lucky sometimes, because none of us can tell the future, whether it's 3 minutes, 3 months, or 3 years in the future. We have to only deal with what's in front of us. You know, most of the time, when you're doing this trading small with the Micro E-minis, you might make between $15 and $100 on trades. 185 is the exception, not the rule. I don't want you to think that you can just watch a couple of videos and learn how to make those 50 decisions in the 10 minutes that passed since I got into this trade. It takes practice and experience, and if anybody tells you otherwise or that you can buy a system, they're just trying to scam you and take your money. You know, each of us has a different fingerprint. None of us are exactly like any other trader, and they're going to make the same 50 decisions in 10 minutes. You know that's the truth, and I know you do. Well, I'm glad to say this trade has come to a conclusion, and it was a lot of fun, and it may have taken me around the park a few more times than I had planned on, but what a great trade it was and fun. I'm glad you got to see it today. If you want to see more trades like the one you saw today, hit the like button. It's like voting. It lets me know what videos I can make that you will want to see, or the ones that help you. So if you want to see another one like today's video, just hit the like button for me. I appreciate that. You ever notice when you're making money on a trade, they're a lot more fun, aren't they? How about that? This trade really was a great time. I do have losing trades all the time. I try to show mostly winners here on the channel because I want to show you what to do instead of what not to do. The secret to the losers, if you want to call it a secret, or the thing to remember foremost, is to keep the losses small. You know, if you're trading one contract at $5 a point, I would call small, you know, somewhere between 20 and 40 bucks that I might gamble in order to try and make some money with it. And it takes a few trades like this where the profits run up a little bit to get those cumulative wins constantly above the cumulative losses. And that's the trick, because you're going to lose about 40% of your trades anyway. It's just the nature of this kind of trading. You know, you just can't, there's no system that's going to have you winning 95% of the time on in a stock equity index futures trading, day trading. It's just not going to happen. If you're new to the channel, I promised you that I would tell you about the 2 beginners playlists I have. They're absolutely free. You'll see the links to 2 of those playlists, a total of about 10-minute videos, just short things to get you started with some of the basics here. And you can find that link in the text below the video here. Also, there's a link down there on the bracket OCO, a video on how to do those, how you can find a trade simulation program that's free, no credit cards or anything required. And we have over 100 videos here on the channel. If you're just getting into considering day trading, the Micro E-minis, tell a friend, and welcome to the channel. I'm glad you were here today, and we had an unusually good trade today, and that's always a lot of fun. I appreciate your comments. By the way, my book sales support the channel here, and that's very important to me, and it helps me bring more material here on the channel. So your support, of course, is very, very much appreciated. We have over 11,000 subscribers now, and it's a lot of fun on the channel, and we get a lot of feedback in the comments below, and sometimes in the emails I receive. I try to get around to answering all of them. I'm Don Singletary. Great fun today. I hope every day is a payday for you.